Hi guys, and welcome to my Biohacking Society channel. Please click the like button and subscribe button. And I just wanted to know, have you heard about the cutting edge therapy that increases your longevity, it helps your immunity, memory, creativity, while at the same time making you slim and attractive, and prevents cancer, dementia, diabetes, and even heart disease, while at the same time increases your immune function. What is it? Can you guess what it is? I'm gonna blow your mind. Hopefully, it is sleep. That's why we sleep. We sleep because during sleep we don't age, and during sleep, this is the time where our body does all the repairs on our system, and it makes us heal and rejuvenate during that time. So, but the best part is free. Here's some fun facts about sleep. If you only slept 6 hours a day or less for 10 days, it's equivalent of 24-hour deprivation sleep. So if somebody was to keep you 24 hours awake, it would be equivalent of that. The funniest part is that we don't know when we sleep deprived. So much like a drunk person in the bar picks up his car keys and says, I'm okay to drive, and wobbling, same way you don't know that you lack in sleep and you under that influence. And it doesn't take much to be sleep deprived. Just if we were to go back to driving, just if you were to sleep 5 hours one night, it increases your ability to crash a car 3 times more so than the person that had optimal sleep. And speaking of being drunk, if you were to stay awake for like 17 hours, it would be equivalent of alcohol level of 0.8. So the less sleep, the higher that equivalent of alcohol level is in your body. So, but the worst part, when we don't sleep enough, or we don't get a high quality of sleep, because you can sleep 8 hours, but if you're constantly waking up and you're not getting quality sleep, it's the same as not sleeping. Or you can have 7 hours of sleep, of high quality sleep, and be rested and rejuvenated. So sleep influences our hormones leptin and ghrelin. Leptin is the hormone that keeps us satiated when we eat and tells us it's enough, you had enough food. And ghrelin is the one that makes us hungry. And when we don't sleep enough, and there's many studies that showed people that were sleeping 5 hours for a couple of days, on day two they start eating 30 to 40% more simple carbs being cakes, cookies, the bad carbs, not vegetables, because vegetables are also carbs. And then they were making worse choices. So they were eating more food, they were eating more bad food, and they couldn't, their ghrelin was so high that they couldn't tell, that they didn't feel satiated, and they wanted to eat more and more. So, but on the positive side, when you do have good sleep, it puts you in a huge advantage, because your learning ability and your memory goes up by 20%. It's 20% higher than a person that didn't get good sleep. So you can ace that test. And if let's say another way to kind of like make a point why sleep is important and why it affects your heart, and your why it prevents diabetes, right, and stroke at the same time, is that they did a sample tissue sample studies on people that slept less, and just in one night of sleep deprivation, the next day they tested the tissue, and in the tissue showed that they were resistant to insulin, meaning you're pretty much diabetic. So your body doesn't sense insulin, the insulin receptors are very weak and they're not working, and right away that also affects your cortisol levels, it affects you. So sometimes if you're wondering why you have that muffin top and you on a good diet and you exercise, maybe you just lacking sleep. So generally for your health, there's, everybody knows that exercise is important, so is the diet is important, what you eat, but the sleep is the foundation, because your diet could be good. And that's why we hear about these famous people who the king of exercise, the queen of exercise, and for some reason they died from cancer or in a young age, or they died from heart disease. A lot of times, maybe it's sleep, maybe it's toxic relationship. There's so many parts of health. They're not just exercising and eating right, and everybody has their own idea of what is healthy, right? So let's go over the reasons to why you might have trouble sleeping. One of the reasons is hormones. When your estrogen is high, estrogen is responsible for waking cycle, and it can keep you up. Another reason, your testosterone could be low, and more so for men than women. It affects men more than women, although older women might experience that as well. When your testosterone is low, it will keep you awake. Digestion being a big one. So your microbiome is directly connected to your brain. Your brain and your microbiome talk to each other. And so think of it this way. When you're tired, what does it mean? Why are you tired? Basically, what it means in a nutshell is that your body conserving energy for your vital organs. Right now, you're tired because it thinks we need to store this energy for our organs that keeps us alive, and we're going to take the energy from other different non-important parts, and that's why you're tired. So allergies and histamine being another one. I didn't know for many years that I had histamine intolerance, and histamine also connected to estrogen. And when you're estrogen dominant, it will increase your histamine as well. Allergies, many different things. But if you're struggling with histamine intolerance, some of the signs of that could be headache, could be muscle ache. It can come because we have receptors of histamine everywhere in our body. So it could be like upset stomach, so many different things. And a lot of times you'll feel it after eating fermented food, after drinking wine, after eating olives, or anything preserved, fermented meats. A lot of times will give you high histamine if you have that issue, and then you have to figure out if it's the chicken or the egg. Is it the estrogen dominance that gives you high histamines, or is the histamine intolerance or is it your liver, because maybe your body doesn't get rid of estrogen as quickly and it recirculates in your body, and the estrogen that recirculates is the bad one. The one that we make, there's different kinds of estrogen. I'm not going to get into it. So digestion, your microbiome. There's many studies coming up every week that your microbiome is responsible for your sleep and your immune system. And there's certain bacteria that promote sleep. There's certain bacteria that actually creates toxicity in your body, and then it's not easy to fix. It's not. So you can have leaky gut, you can have IBS. People with IBS on average are about 40% of people with IBS will have trouble sleeping. So low thyroid is another one. Low thyroid will also can contribute to restless leg syndrome and apnea, sleep apnea, and it can also prevent you from sleeping good. And blood sugar regulation. If you wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, 1 to 3 o'clock in the morning, a lot of times it's because your blood sugar drops and it wakes you up. At this case, it's good to eat good quality protein before you go to sleep, so it lasts longer instead of carbs. Alcohol, really bad for you. It does act as a sedative, and it makes you fall asleep easier, but it doesn't keep you asleep, and it disturbs your sleep. It makes you addicted to that sedation that alcohol originally gives you. And sometimes the reason for not sleeping is low melatonin, which is if you are watching TV right before you go to sleep, if you not exposed to daylight between the hours of 9 a.m. and 2 p.m., it will disturb your circadian rhythm. And the funniest thing, there's studies that show when you turn the light on at night just for a second, it drops your melatonin level. So that's good to keep in mind. Noise is a big one. There's a lot of products that help you with noise pollution. Every time your phone is not on vibrate or there's just random noises going on in the background, they can keep you up and not let you go into deep sleep. Body temperature, being hot, being too hot. Mold is a big one. There's books and books written about mold sensitivity. It's also ties up with histamine, and a lot of mattresses, unfortunately, collect mold when we sweat, and then they grow bacteria inside and mold inside, and it can affect our health in many different ways, not just sleep. Uncomfortable mattresses, uncomfortable pillows. There are so many. The position you sleep in, the healthiest position to sleep in, it's on your back. There's just so many reasons to why you don't sleep, and stress being a big one, and cortisol levels being high or cortisol levels being off, being low and during the day and high at night will mess up your cycle. Nutritional deficiency, like, I don't know if you knew, but vitamin D is a big one, and it plays a huge role in your sleep. So we talked about hormones, but then there's also neurotransmitters, serotonin, wrong levels of serotonin, not optimal levels can keep you up. Norepinephrine is another one that is activated when we awake. And if it's high, it can keep you from going into deep sleep due to stress or overworking out, working out too late at night. GABA A makes you sleep, GABA B makes you awake. So if you have some kind of disbalance in your brain, it can definitely affect that. Adenosine is the part that actually accumulates during the day, and once it gets high enough, it makes us sleepy. So there's an interesting supplement called Dynamine that blocks adenosine receptors and helps you extend caffeine longer or not get sleepy in the middle of the day. Because adenosine actually works with caffeine, and caffeine sits on the adenosine receptors and prevents it from getting on the receptors and keeps us up. So a fun fact, pardon me, is that for people that are over 45, if they don't sleep more than 6 hours a night, they increase their risk of stroke by 200%. That's a significant amount. So as we get older, we do need to sleep more, and as we get older, we also need more protein. We just don't metabolize things the same, so more protein as you get older. That's like on the side note. So what kind of treatments can we recommend for people that have trouble sleeping? Number one, you remove the triggers. You have to figure out what it is that's keeping you up. Is it stress? Is it microbiome? Is it leaky gut? Is that parasites? Another one. Candida can keep you up if you don't know you have it. So we test, we don't guess. We go to a professional. It's like, hey, I'm having trouble sleeping. Let's check all these factors and see which one could it be. If you know it's stress, then we work on that. Decreasing stress, sleeping in temperature 64 to 68 Fahrenheit. If you travel in, or if you live with someone else and they like it warmer, then you can get a cooling blanket. There's a lot of props to help you sleep on your back, and then there's headphones you can buy that you can put your phone on airplane. There's apps where you can play. You're probably familiar with the white noise, brown noise, and the best noise that scientists found to be the most helpful when you have trouble sleeping, it's pink noise. Blue light, obviously, to keep melatonin up, and basically figuring out the reason why and go from there. So like my video. Thank you very much. Bye.